fast action gameplay that the franchise was conflict of World War II really puts an emphasis now on rewarding gun skill and strategy. And with an all-new boots on the ground experience before, we're bringing some great new innovations too, you know, things that were designed to elevate the player experience. Things we want to touch about, but we're going to save for a little bit later in the show.
We are indeed saying
yeah, it is mad.
This live stream. There's lots of things coming up. But Dalek, how do you feel about that?
I'm extremely excited by the fact that it's been nearly 10 years since Call of Duty has been in the World War II era, and I mean that in itself is just extremely exciting. And judging by you guys over on Twitter, it seems I'm not the only one. Loads of fans are expressing their excitement around the fact of us being able to experience World War II era weaponry. Fans like Games412412 who tweets in saying, what kind of weapons will we be seeing in Call of Duty World War II?
Well, the team worked to bring a wide variety of weapons, you know, from both the Allied and Axis forces to life. And for us, authenticity was key. So from the iconic ping of the empty M1 Garand to the power of the first assault rifle, the STG-44, these guns have a real weight to them that is really visceral. And it really, for me, brings me back to my fondest memories of playing Call of Duty with the fidelity now and the brilliance of what's only possible in the latest generation of gaming hardware. No automatic weapons symbolize brutality of World War II more than the belt-fed MG42, which you'll see. Terrifyingly powerful weapon. There's the bolt action rifles of World War II and the singular damage that they could inflict in combat, like the M1903. And equipped with scopes or iron sights, these weapons were tamperedly precise. And of course, Glenn here with his .45 caliber grease gun, running around and spraying the prey mode, you know. That just scratches the surface, frankly.
The king of spray and pray, eh? So Glenn, what did you enjoy most then about making a World War II game with the current hardware?
Yeah, good question. You know, I really love the detail we can bring to the game nowadays. The way the soldiers walked and talked, the music of the era, the different locations we researched as the big set pieces for iconic battles. In Normandy specifically, it's the emotions created by combining elements like the sound of the 50 caliber rounds hitting the front of the boat, the vehicles crashing into the shore, and taking cover behind the hedgehogs. In each case, we're targeting the most realistic gaming experience possible.
Well, guys, I'm hyped to see
Sound that goes on as well. Dalek, what else the community wants to know?
Well, we have a tweet in from It's Enigma for the Win, who wants to know what locations are we going to be fighting in?
Well, the game takes place entirely in the European theater, primarily between 1944 and 1945. And as you saw in the reveal trailer, players will storm the beaches of Normandy on D-Day, fight through the Hurtgen Forest, engage in urban combat.
Yeah, that's right. And we want to showcase how ordinary men and women came together to accomplish the extraordinary. And while the story follows the 1st Infantry Division, we also fold in a story of diverse and global cast of characters like Major Crowley from the SOE. Now he's a UK intel officer who earns recognition for his heroism earlier in the war. He helps plan the runway landings and then coordinates with the French resistance activities.
Yeah, and while fighting through the German lines in France, players will be introduced to other great characters such as Rousseau, the powerful female leader of the French resistance, who forms a close bond with all our cast members, cast of characters, as the story progresses. Throughout much of the campaign, though, you're going to play as Private Red Daniels, a young recruit who is seeing some of his first real action in the invasion of Normandy. He's joined by his best friend, Zussman, a Jewish-American private. We'll follow our squad across the European theater, and we're excited to say that a part of the cast is here today to talk more about the incredible journey.
They are indeed. We'll bring her up on stage in a second. Glenn, Michael, don't go anywhere because we will be talking to you later on with some more questions from the community. Keep them coming in. But please do give a warm welcome to Jonathan Tuck, who plays Red's best friend, Private Zussman. If we swap everyone out, let's swap everyone out here as we do this bit. And Jeffrey Pierce, who plays Lieutenant Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. And it's great to have the casting as well, because one of the great things about Call of Duty has been that. It's been the great storytelling that goes on. We've got the 3 Js here right now. Josh, I know you've had a huge amount of passion from this game since day one, being part of this project. What most excited you?
Well, when I first heard about it, I sat with Brett and with Glenn, and they wouldn't even tell me what the game was at first because it was so confidential. And then, they just told, it was really about what the history of this was about and how much detail I wanted to pay to it. And as I really got to, learn more about it and actually start working on the game, not only did they pay attention historically, but the writing is so incredibly good. I mean, it rivals anything that I've ever read, as far as movie scripts. So, it's just something that I've always wanted to do, and it turned out to be as much fun as any job I've ever had.
And as Eric said earlier on, the story of World War II touches a lot of people emotionally, and that was something you brought into your performance, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, again, who knew? I thought it was just going to be a good time playing, getting to work on a video game. And it turns out that these, some of the scene work we got to do in this game was amazing. And these characters are so well-rounded. They were right. They really did pay a lot of attention to, being historically accurate and making sure these characters had a lot of depth.
And if we're talking about characters, tell me about your character, the guy you play.
Well, I don't know, boys. What was he? He's a bit of a dick. He's somebody who is obviously mission before man, and it was something that was fun for me because I love playing the dick. I love playing the guy who everybody hates, and ultimately he has a dilemma about is it mission before man, or is it really man before mission? Because he connects to these guys by the end of his story, and that's really what drew me to it.
Well, if we're talking about that connection, what was it like then, Jeffrey, when you're working together, that brotherhood feeling, when you're capturing your performances?
Well, we've been working together for 1.5 years at this point. Once a month, coming in, work 4 or 5 days. And I think we all bonded extraordinarily well. I mean, you don't mesh with people necessarily, but we walked in the room and felt like I'd known these guys for 10 years. And then the work that we're being asked to do is of the scope of a massive feature film. And the storytelling sort of where games are at now, what you can capture, the detail and performance. Story is as important as gameplay. And gameplay has always been seamless in Call of Duty, but this is like really getting to do work of a level that you would expect.
2,000.
And once you get past the tight
No, actually 1,980 people watching.
Once you get past that, it feels like
everybody
I'm
was
gonna play
active
it,
the
so-
entire time in the motion capture or the pre-cap sessions that we're doing. And it's an extraordinarily active, dynamic process where
I'll get it in
everybody's
the-
working the entire time. It's an exciting process to be a part of as an actor. The performances are so much more visceral, and it's so much more of an exciting process to be part of.
And you're relying on everybody else to help you get where you need to get. It's a great experience.
Well, because that's what you said to me earlier. I mean, I don't want to give anything away, but we met in the gym this morning. We bumped into each other. We were doing our mirror work. And you said it was like being on stage, and it lent a whole new dimension to your performances. Because I think when you're doing TV or film, you can be off, can't you?
Oh yeah, I mean Josh and I, this is our first video game. Josh's done quite a few. We're used to just sitting back on our Apple boxes in between takes, letting other people get their shots, but for the first time we really have to work. The way the entire scene.
at this point it was just, you are close up and then let somebody else to the other side.
Exactly right.
Up to the trailer. Yeah, up to my trailer. Call me. That's about it. That's what I got.
These guys, I've got to see both their kids grow up. They've got to see my dog get bigger. We've seen other cast members, lose girlfriends, get girlfriends. So that camaraderie was very reflective of this group of regular people who are diverse in religion, in age, in geography, in color, and getting to see that group of people in World War II is, I think, a wholly unique. It's a wholly unique part of this game that I think people will appreciate when they're playing.
When you scratch the surface, you find out that these guys, they're not fighting for bigger ideas than the love of the brothers around them. and risking their lives, sacrificing themselves for each other. It's not about flag or country when the rubber meets the road. It's about caring for each other, and that serves the bigger whole. But the connection between the men and the women on the front lines is as powerful a bond as you could see anywhere.
Yeah, and one thing that I think is also really cool about this is that not only is it a kick-ass game, but because they spent so much time making this historically accurate, it's going to expose the whole World War II story to a whole new generation. And that's really, I'm really honored to be a part of this game for that reason. And the fact that I get to sit to be in a video game, but the fact that it's, it is a visceral sort of thing, and I think that, anybody who isn't familiar with World War II is going to get a real feel for what it might have been like.
Because lots of people are writing articles about that at the moment, saying that this is how we get our history now. It's through this, and there's almost more empathy when you're fighting through an interactive character.
Well, there's 20 years since Saving Private Ryan. It's 10 years since Call of Duty had a World War II game. This is a whole new generation, and to speak to the pride that we've all felt making this game, it has been a true privilege to, even watching this behind the scenes, to be able to share with the world the small role that we've gotten to play in bringing this game to fans and a whole new generation to understand World War II.
Yeah, you mentioned connections. Am I right in thinking that somebody who sat around on this stage right now got a punch in on you at some point during the film?
Well, he did. Like we were saying, it's usually one take. You get the one take right and you move on to the next scene. Well, he kept screwing it up and taking another. Can I get one more? I had to get it right. I just need one more. To get it right. Starting to want
authenticity. We're back to visceral authenticity. And you can't, hit somebody who's 6'4" every day without repercussions. So I took my licks where I
appreciate your dedication to the craft.
Yeah. I just don't like that take. Let's do it one more time. Come on, Iron Bob. And we're actually watching on the screen right now. We're watching your characters. What is it like watching yourself back, having gone very sort of punch? And what is it like watching yourself back in the game at this point? Because obviously you've done TV, you've done films, but watching yourself in the game.
Well, it takes a while to adjust to this tight, suit that you're wearing. It's all colorful with these balls and the whole thing.
Who looked the best?
Once Jonathan, for sure. He's been doing a lot of squats.
Heavy deadlifting makes the suit look nice.
But once you get past that, and once you start to see some of the results and some of the stuff that the guys are working on from Foster City and all over the world, I think. I'm not sure where everybody's at, but again, thank you guys for all the work. But once you start to see what you're actually going to look like, it frees you up to really go for it, because you're not just in some silly suit. This is World War II, and this is some serious stuff.
Yeah.
And so it gives you a whole new freedom that you wouldn't otherwise have.
You can imagine your breath when we're doing some of these winter scenes. You can squint at a fake sun and the volume, and those guys who created this game build that in for you. So that freedom he's talking about, it's so exciting to explore.
And I think it sets it up for what Call of Duty is, which is great storytelling. But please put our hands together for our cast super.
If you're not signing
the three gems.
it's alright. If you are signed in, please just let me.
I would guess you're still excited right now.
I mean, I think I'm just in a state of excitement. I can't really get out of it. That was awesome and very insightful to hear from the cast. Now, don't worry, we still have a lot of reactions and general tweets from the community to deliver to Glenn and Michael. We've got just a handful right here. We have Rob Stang, who says, I hope Michael Condrey and Glenn Schofield give us at least a little tease of multiplayer during the reel. Smiley face. And at Woodworth Noah, and this is in all caps by the way, this is going to be amazing! Loads of exclamation marks. Thank you, thank you, thank you! Now as I look through all the tweets, there is an enormous amount of questions revolving around multiplayer. Guys, what can you tell us about multiplayer today?
So there you go, the community.
What?
Lots of people are excited about Michael.
Fidget spinners!
About multiplayer.
Oh my goodness, we have so much to share. Now we can't show you a lot today, a lot of big stuff coming at E3, but first and foremost, we're talking boots on the ground combat. And, that well-balanced Call of Duty run-and-gun action in a brutal and visceral head-to-head.
Are you watching World War II reveal?
So from maps to movement, boots on the ground experience.
Sorry guys about that.
Critical objectives. Now this mode changes map design, strategy, teamwork, and we're really excited about his potential. We're also excited about Divisions. Divisions is a fundamentally new way to approach your Call of Duty multiplayer career, and it adds to the player immersion by allowing players to enlist in a specific unit of their choice. And finally, we have Headquarters. This is something special everybody at Sledgehammer Games, and it's the first of a kind for the Call of Duty community. It's really a living space where fans can connect, be rewarded, compete, show off, and have fun outside of matches. It's a transformation of how the community comes together, and we really want you to see it to understand it. So just a tiny peek here. Let's take a look.
What's a tiny peek?
That was a little tinier than I expected.
When we can see more of this?
Well, you know, it's coming to E3, MP on the floor. For us, that's the first time Sledgehammer Games has been able to bring it to fans. Fans are coming to the conference, so it's going to be big. We're going to bring all that to you at E3.
It's going to be excellent.
Hey guys! I'm sorry to interrupt. I mean, multiplayer sounds sensational, but after reading other people's questions, I want to ask one of my own. Now I know that there may or may not be some sort of co-op mode within World War II. Now, I am quite a big Zombies fan, and there is a lot of people watching around the world that are also in the same boat as me. So we're all asking right here, right now, what can you tell us about this co-op mode?
Absolutely nothing. No, that's right. Yeah, you know, our third mode is it's an entirely new story, and it's a pretty horrifying experience, sort of like your office. You know, for Michael and I, it's our first horror game in years, and we're really psyched about it. It's the story of the Third Reich's desperate attempt to create an army in the final stages of the war. We can't wait to share more. In fact, should we show a little something? Just a little tiny little bit.
Whoa! It's darling before makeup.
Oh, thank you very much. Guys, I mean, this says very little, and normally I would be a little disappointed, but how can I be when, I mean, that just looks incredible. I would ask for more, but I'm probably going to get a no, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
At least I tried.
That is a Nazi zombie on the biggest cinema screen in the United Kingdom. I think that is a fabulous way to end this first look at the Call of Duty World War II. And that it has been an absolute ton of fun, and it's been great having you guys here as well.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's been a pleasure. You know, our hearts are full being able to share with fans, and we hope fans are just as excited about Call of Duty World War II as we are to make it. Without a doubt, it really is the most personal and powerful game I've ever worked on, and I know we can speak for all the developers at Sledgehammer Games when I say that we're holding nothing back for November.
Yeah, and you know, our thanks again for the support. This game is for you, and I'm sure Michael would agree. We've talked about this before, that this is the best game we've ever made.
The best game.
The best game.
There you go. So thank you very much to Glenn and to Michael from Sledgehammer Games. It is going to be such a wonderful November the 3rd, it really is. So stick it in your iCal, tattoo it to the inside of your eyelids. November the 3rd, that is when this new Call of Duty, going back to its root, is coming out. World War II with this game. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep in touch by the social channels. How should we leave it? The way we came in. Let's have another look at that trailer.
Upon a mighty endeavor. Souls will be shaken with the violences of war. In this hour of great sacrifice, we shall prevail. Let go and keep moving!
We are all that separates the world from darkness. The enemy is ruthless. We cannot. We must not fail.
You'll be first.
We executed the mission. Get
No mission too difficult. No sacrifice too great.
Welcome to the Bloody First. You're a long way from Texas, my boy.
Pre-order now and get access to the private beta.
Okay, well that was a bit good. I think there's another worldwide reveal, so we'll just wait these few seconds. Yeah. This is, oh my, so good so far. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, hype. Nabi boy, hype. Should be good. At least someone from that to the stream. Make sure to sub if you already haven't, that'll be much appreciated. Five seconds left. 3, 2, 1.
Go, boys.
And this is Dave.
Do you forget for a moment there?
Yeah, I wasn't sure, man. So, look, we've got 12 minutes. There is a countdown that's going on. We're going to wrap up everything that you've seen tonight.
48,
oh
come on,
my God, what happens when it gets to zero, man? And Holly's got a list of stuff that we're going to go through, we're going to chat through, and then we're going to get Glenn and Michael back on stage to answer a couple of our questions. So, Holly, kick us off, Holly. What's the number one on your list?
Okay, so this one kind of sounds a little bit daft, but with Call of Duty World War II, they have said that they haven't been able to make this before because it needed current-gen technology. They couldn't do it previously.
Certainly looks different. Dave and I are quite old, and we remember World War II games that we used to play on old systems. They did not look like this one.
I know, I distinctly remember playing Call of Duties, like the first 4, in 4x3, through a SCART lead.
Yeah,
so like SD, I mean HD, World War II, come on Dave, HD now, it's pretty exciting, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, exactly, and like you said, it's very appropriate that we're here at the end. This screen is enormous. I hope they don't put our faces on it at any point, because that would be terrible for everybody. Yeah, it's really appropriate here. It's going to be a big cinematic experience, but it's also got a story, Holly, point number 2.
It does have a story. Yeah, we're actually going to be following Private Red Daniels.
And they watch some room
because he is in the American Army.
Yeah, that's right.
But however, there will be Allied soldiers as well, so you'll come across the French and the British.
Yeah, it's a story about camaraderie. I picked up on that term, camaraderie.
Yeah, I can't even say it. I say it wrong. I say camaraderie.
Well, you're saying it wrong. It's camaraderie. So that's pretty exciting. I mean, you know, it's going to be a story about a squad, not just a person, and how they interact. There's also going to be iconic World War II moments.
Definitely like the feel of it.
You like number 3?
Yes, if you like, yeah, number 3.
Well, it's good. The journey is very much kind of 1945, 1944 through Europe from D-Day. It's the kind of, you know, it's the classic. I think Band of Brothers is a big touching point for people of my generation. So it's going to be, yeah, moving from kind of France, so that big kind of set piece of the D-Day landing all the way through to Germany.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some of the D-Day landings in the trailer, which looks harrowing and horrible. They've also spoken about the Battle of the Bulge, the liberation of Paris,
And then I heard the Rhine was mentioned, and it
You were really taking notes.
in 1945. I'm just saying, man. You know what else happened in 1945?
I'm so conscious of the numbers, Holly. These ones ticking down, and our next one, which is.
Right, we're going into the multiplayer stuff. We're starting with headquarters.
Yeah.
For me, I thought this was one of the coolest things. This is like a social place. So this is where you can almost come and hang out beforehand. I want to know a little bit more, and I think this is going to try and push Glenn and Michael to be a bit more
Exactly. Imagine if we got the opportunity to actually. Well, they said sneak peek, and it was like the sneakiest peek ever. I mean, it was like looking through a little crack.
I actually missed it.
Yeah, I But I mean, it's pretty amazing. That's like a completely new innovation for Call of Duty. Like, so I don't know what that is going to mean.
Dude, it might be something that's like a Call of Duty Online I'm good at now, just hanging out.
Well, that's the thing you're good at. Just hang out and chat to people.
Yeah, exactly. Really social.
You're really bad at making friends.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Dave. And also there were some new modes which have been announced. Holly, you have a line to tell us about, this is our point number 5, divisions, right?
I will tell you my line about divisions. So this basically allows you to take on, funny enough, different divisions. For example, you could take infantry, or you could take armor division. However, it will impact your MP progression.
Yeah, this is such a huge thing on Call of Duty, so it's really interesting that there's this, like a mode that's going to kind of change the way that you progress through the online system. And there's another one, Dave, which is my favourite. I don't know how they came up with this name, but one of them's called War. New mode called War. Can you tell us what are the details on War, Holly?
I will tell you the details on War mode. This is narrative.
PS4 camera soon, and I'm getting this game when it comes out November 3rd.
Axis forces, but this time you're in teams and you're fighting for strategic, like objectives.
Right, as soon as I heard strategy, man, I thought, I'm thinking, you know, big war room table, pushing around, little guys, and then doing the battles for the greater good of your team.
So it's just great, but it is great that, you know, that there's new modes coming, there's new multiplayer experiences still coming out, Call of Duty. We need to move along though. We're talking about kind of online experiences. Co-op mode, we tossed a coin, who gets to say it?
Dave gets to say it.
Nazi zombies. There we go. I mean, I'm sorry, I was overwhelmed by the moment there. Nazi zombies. Which, I mean, you all saw the art, looks ridiculously hideous. Like, really, really horrible. And they've, again, just whet our appetites with that, so not a lot to say. But, well, you know a little bit about the story, right?
Yeah, the idea is Third Reich, they're getting desperate, so they've turned to the crazy science, which has created Nazi zombies.
Yeah, it's the classic Nazi zombie story.
Nazi cultism.
Yeah.
Bad dudes. And we're gonna round out, obviously we're from PlayStation Access, so this is good news for us. The PlayStation relationship...
Thank you to the one person who was, by the way, that's really nice of you.
We can't see you because of the lights, but you're my favourite. And the PlayStation relationship continues for another year. Holly, what does that mean?
So we know the beta is coming, but we can tell you that you will be playing it first on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, boy!
Such a PlayStation fan from you.
Right, well, I guess we should kind of move on to the next bit. So that was our wrap-up. So in case for some reason you missed the live stream, this was kind of the wrap-up of everything that was shown, hopefully a little bit more. But I guess we should bring our guests out so we can grill them and try and get more information.
Brilliant for some questions too. Let's welcome back onto stage Glenn and Michael from Sledgehammer.
I think it was camaraderie.
Is it camaraderie? Oh, dude. I said that.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's for sure.
That's embarrassing.
I don't have a pocket to put my hand in to look really relaxed.
So, guys, so that was an amazing presentation. Thank you so much for joining us back on stage. For people who watch our channel, it's not a Call of Duty kind of dominated channel, so we hear boots on the ground a lot, right? And I think anyone who follows Call of Duty knows exactly what that means. But for the tens of people out there who don't, could you just kind of give us a sense of what does that mean for Call of Duty, where it is now, and what does boots on the ground, going back to boots on the ground mean?
Yeah, I mean, boots on the ground, classic Call of Duty, run and gun, fast action, strategic gameplay, right? It's what Call of Duty was born with, and what we're bringing it back to. So it's fun, it's fast, it's strategic, it's that great skill-based gunplay that made Call of Duty what it is today.
And it's also, I mean, one of the things that really struck me from your presentation, and I mentioned Band of Brothers on stage. I've actually been watching with my son. He's probably slightly too young to watch it, so I won't say how old he is, but it is very interesting to think that there's a generation of players out there who this is going to be their first kind of big media exposure to World War II, right? And that's something that you guys get to give them. So is that something that you guys as a studio have thought about a lot?
Yeah, you know, we knew there'd probably be 1-2 generations that haven't really watched Private Ryan, and it's been 10 years since the last World War II game with Call of Duty. So that was one of the reasons why we paid real attention to getting everything right and trying to really tell the story. And as we said earlier, it's about respect, you know. And so we want to make sure that they're not, if they do, you know, when they play the game, they learn something, and what they do learn will be correct. You know, it's still about having fun, but get the details right.
I can tell you that when we started this journey almost 3 years ago, it was really wanting to tell a really impactful narrative and a story, largely to ensure that this sort of conflict doesn't happen again. And as we dove in with a military historian and got to know the veterans and really researched, it was powerful for us because not only were we telling the story so that it would never happen again, but we're telling it because the people who fought in that war aren't here to tell it for themselves, right? And so there is a lot of honor and respect that we put behind this. Everybody at the studio put behind it because it's
we learned a lot. I mean, we learned so much, you know, digging really deep into it. And I think one of the other things is that in the last 20 years, a lot more information has gotten out. So, you know, we've got some details that, you know, may not have been around.
And guys, we talked a lot today about the you know, the characters involved in it. It obviously focuses around Red, but there's, dare I say, camaraderie or camaraderie. You know, there's a squad of men. Exactly, friendship. There's friendship between soldiers. Any chance we're going to be seeing any of the story told from any of their perspectives, or is this very much Red's story?
Well, it's Red's story, but it's also the story of the platoon and what they. Different characters. I mean, this is an international war, so and it's also a different time, right? So we have a lot of different characters in the game, and we talked about Rousseau earlier, and Zussman, and Crowley, who's a British. We also have you know, we bump into an African American platoon that was there, and of course the way that they were treated is going to be shown in the game, and we don't really pull any punches in the game. We just try and tell the truth.
And you know, really across the whole game, single player, multiplayer, zombies. This is a global cast and a diverse cast, right? So there's heroes of the war from all over the globe. Nearly every country is involved in some way, and so women heroes, men heroes,
zombies back again, boy.
Of opportunities to play characters throughout the World War II conflict. And that was important to us.
And Call of Duty is going back to World War II, which I know the whole world is very excited about, you know, where it all began. Was part of your process at all going back and looking at the you know, the early Call of Duty games set in World War II, and if so, what were you looking for and what did you learn from them?
We've been up making games for 20 plus years, and we were fans of the franchise before we were developers of the franchise, so it was a real honor to be given the opportunity of the studio. It's pretty humbling for Activision to give us a chance to bring it back to its roots, but we really wanted to tell our story, an original story. You know, the 1st Infantry, the fighting first 15,000 or 35,000 troops. And we chose a squad of 12, so it's a very original and unique story that we bring to life in this game.
So now we have 1 minute, so there's one question I really want to ask, and that is about headquarters. So obviously
you said you were going to grill it.
Well, I've got a minute, so probably not. But can you really give us some kind of details? What do we do in this space? Now we've seen other online shooters with social spaces, and you can visit vendors, and you can interact with your friends. What are you actually bringing with headquarters?
Well, what I can tell you, E3 is going to be huge for us, right? But I will tell you, headquarters is a big deal. Headquarters is really a big innovation that we've put a lot of time into at the studio. We're calling it the off the front lines experience. There's so much great community of Call of Duty fans out there, and we want to provide a way for them to be rewarded, to compete, to be recognized, to show off, and to be social. So there'll be fun new things you can do only in headquarters. Uh-oh, I think I lost my mic. and a bunch of ways to really engage in the community in ways you haven't done before.
Amazing. Well, that is it, guys. Thank you so much for coming back out and joining us. Guys, thank you so much for watching at home, for being here. We really appreciate it. Very, very nerve-wracking. Now, you guys, we would really like it if you would stay tuned to the YouTube channel, because there's always more coming up. We're definitely seeing you guys at E3 now.
Certainly.
So you don't forget to join PlayStation Access, because there's going to be loads more coverage of Call of Duty World War II. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an incredible evening, and we look forward to see what you've got coming.
Thanks to you, and thanks everyone here. Yeah, thank you.
The Second World War goes beyond all boundaries.
I'll just let you watch this again.
We see more nations involved in a single conflict. We see casualties higher than ever before. Just a generation before, at the end of the First World War, the Great War, they didn't call it World War I because they expected that nothing like this would ever happen again. And a generation later, something happens that's even bigger and even worse in so many ways.
We have the honor of making this year's Call of Duty called World War II.
Our chance to tell the epic, gritty, visceral story of the world's greatest conflict.
There is a genuine interest in producing a product that is historically authentic.
Every part of this game has been researched and nuanced and studied and scanned and photographed. We really try to get the respect and the details right.
This is about ordinary people doing extraordinary things.
Brotherhood, the camaraderie, the guy next to me. That became the theme for our game.
On a personal level, honoring the story was crucial for us, and it was something we really committed to.
Our story weaves in and out of real historical events. We've gone to great pains to create those authentic battles. One of the biggest things we wanted to get across was a sense of camaraderie.
The people you serve side by side with, you develop bonds with those people.
Hopefully players will walk away from this story feeling like they really know these guys.
Welcome to the Bloody First.
And they care about them.
Our influence in the game in a huge way, the lighting and the tonality and the colors. We want to be able to have the player feel something.
By creating a very believable environment, it allows the player to slip into this world.
The vision for the art direction we call dark and beautiful. It was emotionally dark, visually beautiful. More than just being cool and pretty, it's about trying to get people to have a deeper emotional reaction to the game.
Our modeling department is amazing. The weapons, vehicles, the tanks, even the cars you might see on the city street, the level of detail is just phenomenal.
It's a huge endeavor, but we have to stay true to the source material. We have to research and watch a lot of film, a lot of archive footage to see how combatants in World War II will behave. Sometimes the hardest things are the biggest payoffs. The combination of the model, the animation, and the audio creates that punchiness to the weapon.
We record everything. Every location we record in for the game, the ambiences, the music, the dialogue, everything has to be created from scratch. We had a real opportunity here to do a level of authenticity and reality, true to the war, true to the soldiers who fought in that war. We had this great opportunity with Marty Morgan, our military advisor. We spent a lot of time on a gun range with all of the authentic World War II weaponry.
It's critical to understand the absolute violence of the Second World War. It's critical to understand how weapons of firepower function.
This is a story that's bigger than all of us. This is a whole new generation who might not have a lot of experience with this time period. I think this is a great opportunity to have them experience that and feel that.
We've made something pretty incredible, and I'm very proud of it.
It's perhaps the greatest compliment I've been paid in my career to work on this project.
This is the most powerful game I've ever worked on. It's very personal, very humbling.
You know, I've been making games for over 26 years. And I'll tell you, it's the best game ever.
I think it's the end actually now. There's some other part. Don't know what this is doing. yeah, so I think it's over. Not sure, guys. Yeah, so that's it. Just a new black market weapon, so that's new. How about that? Wow. So yeah guys, it's been Lumbersayer. Peace.